What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. Today I wanted to get your guys' opinion on a few different matters within the collection. For the most part, I would say about 98% of my collection is finalized. There's a few areas that I think can be maybe tweaked or changed for the better. Now, seeing Godzilla bust here mid-room, I do like it quite a bit. Now, the base is so magnificent. I really do feel like this is a 360-degree view. When you walk around, you're amazed at that incredible back base. And I feel like it is better mid-room. So, the idea is I'm either going to put this lower or just behind on like a glass shelf, like in front of behind the diorama or below the diorama. One of the two. I'll try both. See how I think. For now, it's just going to stay here. But there's a few areas I thought potentially could change. Now, one thing that will definitely probably change, depending on future statues, is my Terminator setup. Ideally, I'd prefer not to have a half scale in my collection. I don't want a single half scale. I'd like to get rid of that and get a 1/3 endoskeleton, and then a 1/3 Arnold, 1/3 T1000 with the Pure Arts T1000 bust. 3 busts with 3 1/3s, although the T1000 we're just doing the Pure Arts, not the Queen, because it's just too expensive. It's not worth the going price of like $6,000. I've seen it in person. It's not worth that. So that is something I hope to eventually be able to get is, 1/3 Arnold, 1/3 T1000, 1/3 endoskeleton. Now, this part of the setup, I'm thinking there is a few different options I can do here. Now, if you notice to the right, I have a Vader, Pirates of the Caribbean, Alita, Caesar, bust and 1/4. So the trend is bust and 1/4 over here. Now above, I don't really want to do 1/4. I want to do 1/3, especially since I've read Sony there. That's why I want to do like a 1/3 Arnold and whatnot. The only place that's really going to have 1/4 is the Lord of the Rings. No, there's not really a 1/3 line. But right here, as of right now, the current plan is to do Balrog. Gandalf versus Balrog to be specific. Now, I currently have it on pre-order through Big Bad Toy Store, although they are taking an absolute galaxy to ship that thing. And whenever something's delayed, you always lose interest in it. Like, you don't even want it anymore. And I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, ugh, do I even want this anymore? It's getting so annoying. And obviously, it's an amazing-looking diorama statue. Granted, it's different scale than all my other Lord of the Rings, but it's a very cool-looking creature. And here is a Photoshop of how this would look. So I would angle it more or less just like that, actually. And we'd keep Kong vs. Skullcrawler and Phil Beast and call it a day. Or an alternative option is to do Bruce Lee. So Infinity Studios Bruce Lee. It wouldn't be angled exactly like that. It would be angled a little bit more forward. The arm would be sticking out just a little bit, not too much. I'd have the bust pushed back to probably the very back, and then the arm slightly angled forward, and then the 1/4 right there next to it. And then I would also get rid of Kong vs. Skullcrawler, or move it mid-room, and we'd want to do another bust in 1/4 there. And I'd probably just save that for a future bust in 1/4. Ideally, if you ask me, I'd love to do a Voldemort bust in the Iron Studios 1/4, just to give me, Harry Potter, and I love Voldemort. So I think that would actually go really good there. There's definitely a few different options I can do, but Bruce Lee is definitely, an absolute legend. I'm a huge, huge fan. I've seen all his movies multiple times, all the different TV series, documentaries, you name it. I'm a huge fan of Bruce Lee and everything he stood for, and I definitely would love to own the Infinity Studios bust. Some people say it probably won't look good down low. I think it would. Granted, if it is like the best bust I got in my collection, I would even consider potentially, putting it up high. There's also the possibility that, honestly, if I wanted to, I could even forego doing 1/3 Terminator, sell the half scale, and move all Terminator down low. I could fit Arnold with the 1/4 and Endo right in there if I wanted to. I definitely need at least an endoskeleton statue. I do love my half scale, but I want a 1/3 ultimately. But I could potentially do Bruce Lee, bust in 1/4 above, even keep Arnold there and do the endoskeleton right there and a different bust in 1/4 there. There's definitely a lot of options. Now, Infinity Bruce Lee bust is $4,000. So let's say I cancel Balrog, that's $1,700. Sell Fell Beast for $1,300. Sell Converse Skullcrawler for $1,000. it almost covers Bruce Lee. Almost. I'd still probably have to fork out $1,000 with shipping and tax and whatnot. So still have to fork out 1,000, but I do think it would become probably a top 3 life-size bust in my collection. I think it will. I'm trying to think what would be better. I mean, my current favorites are Arnold, Alita, Wonder Woman, Pennywise. I think it would be as good as all those. So it definitely would be absolutely amazing, and I definitely want it. I mean, the other option is, if I wanted to do Bruce Lee, would be where I currently have my Khaleesi 1/4. That's another potential option. I do want the Khaleesi bust. I'm just so tired of how slow Infinity Studios is. I feel like we want that Khaleesi bust for probably 10 more years. And I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to be collecting in 10 years. I want to be done, hopefully in the next few years. But this is one part of my collection. I want to get that Balrog, no doubt. I think it's phenomenal. And I love that Fell Beast. I love Kong vs. Skullcrawler, but you can't have everything. And I definitely am very keen on busts. I love busts, especially next to 1/4. And at least getting rid of the Lord of the Ring creatures, I could just keep it all 1/4 scale and bust and call it a day. No random like 1/20th scales or anything like that. That is one thing I'd like to do, is I don't like having tons of mixed scales like that. So that is one option. Now, I posted in my Flankster statue collectors group, everyone said to get Bruce Lee. I wanted to get your guys' opinion because there was only about 375 of you in my group, yet I have 31,000 subs on my channel, although I'm sure, only probably 3% actually watch the channel. But I definitely wanted to get your guys' opinion. Bruce Lee or Balrog versus Gandalf? What do you prefer? So, if I could buy Bruce Lee right now, I would probably consider just selling Balrog, cancel Balrog, sell that, and buy Bruce Lee right now. I'm just getting impatient. I want to sort of complete it. I definitely hope we can get a Harry Potter. I know we're getting a Harry Potter himself, a life-size silicone bust by Queen, but I'd much prefer Voldemort. I'd rather stick to the villain versus Harry, because Harry's just uninteresting for a life-size bust, if you ask me. Just like a nerdy kid with glasses. I don't want that. I want Voldemort, cool-looking creature. So that is one thing I definitely would love to get in my collection, is a Voldemort silicone bust, glass eyes, with the Iron Studios 1/4, which I absolutely love. So that is one area that I think could be fixed. Another potential thing I honestly could do is completely move my Fawn and Pan's Labyrinth display right there. You could put Pale Man, Fawn Maquette, Fawn Bust right there. The only problem is that is 1/3. Everything else is 1/4. Now, technically, I could upgrade all these to 1/3. Now, Alita, she's in between, so she doesn't need an upgrade. But there's a 1/3 Caesar out there. There's a Cinemaquette, Vader, and Jack Sparrow. But I honestly like the 1/4 better on all 3 of these versus the 1/3. I think the sculpt and likeness is better on all these 1/4s. So I don't think I want to do that. But it has, crossed my mind, no doubt. Now, a second area in this room, the Marvel DC room. For the most part, I've kind of solidified what I want to do. We're getting Superman bust. That's not changing. We're going to do Steppenwolf, Darkseid, Harley Quinn bust. As long as Harley turns out good, we'll get her. We're going to do Iron Man Mark 7 bust, Vision bust, Scarlet Witch, and, if we get Doctor Strange 1/4, I'd definitely get that. And probably do just props in the corner. But one other area is this area right here. So I've come to the conclusion I need to do kind of one of 3 things. So for my Dark Knight Rises setup, I could just get the Joker Prime 1 bust, call it a day. That's it, nothing else. Put it right there, we're done. Or we move Joker right here, Infinity Studios Joker bust, switch Catwoman with Batman and do Infinity Studios Catwoman bust. And we sell off Aquaman. And then this entire setup is Dark Knight Rises. So I wouldn't buy Batman bust because I already have a Batman bust and I'm sticking to one. So we would do, if you think about it though, I would have Batman, Joker, Harley, Catwoman, Superman, Wonder Woman for life-size busts. And that sounds awesome to me. So I definitely would consider that. So definitely a viable option. You know, because Dark Knight Rises is my second favorite trilogy of all time after Lord of the Rings. Now, the other option is we keep this like this. Technically, I could still do Infinity Studios Joker bust. You have to move Catwoman there, and then it doesn't look as good, you know, like the way she's angled, and she's kind of like tucked away. I much prefer it like this. But then you could do Joker bust right there. You know, I've done, you know, Photoshops. It looks okay, but not the most ideal. Now, the other option is doing Infinity Studios Mera bust, which probably could ship next year. You know, it would go great next to this Aquaman, which I do absolutely love this Aquaman. It's probably my second favorite DC 1/3. I'd say Wonder Woman on horse is number 1, Aquaman's number 2. We could also just do Shazam if I ever get that, or we'll wait for Blitzway version 2.0 Shazam. That could technically go there. We could get a Black Adam. You know, I'm sure Prime 1 will make a 1/3 Black Adam. So we could do Shazam and Black Adam. We could do Aquaman and Mera. There's definitely lots of options. And I've kind of boiled it down to that. We could do Mera bust. We could do a Shazam and Black Adam. Or we could do 2 Infinity Studio Dark Knight Rises busts, which would be Catwoman and Joker. Not Batman and not Bale. Those 2. Catwoman and Joker. That's the ones I would want. So that is kind of the conclusion. Let me know what you think. I don't have Photoshops I could just show you real quickly. But that's kind of my conclusion there, of the 3 different options. I kind of feel like whatever releases first is what I'll buy. But yeah, Jurassic Park, Transformer Room, it's all settled and done. I just need to get Indominus Rex if I ever get it from my retailer. I'm actually trying to find all the statues I have on pre-order from that retailer elsewhere to see if I could just buy them, because I'm not going to wait. Now, this is another area where it's a little, you know, potential change could happen. So we have Khaleesi 1/4, which is one of my favorite 1/4 scale statues. That, Sauron, Kratos are probably my 3 favorite. Now, I wanted to get Infinity Studios Khaleesi bust. I just feel like we'll never see it. They're so slow. The production is 5 years. So it could literally be 10 years before we see that. Now, I do think it would be probably my best bust. But I'm just so impatient, and I'm just like, are they ever actually going to deliver that? Because Infinity Studios, every day goes by, and I'm just like, all right, we're nearly 5 years for Wonder Woman bust, and people still don't have it. Superman bust, over 3.5 years. Batman bust, like 6 years. I'm just like, my God, this company is the absolute worst. And their production quality also is not perfect. Sometimes they have good busts, sometimes they have bad busts. So it makes me wonder if I should consider getting Khaleesi bust, or get Jon Snow 1/4, the Night King 1/4 by Prime 1 Studios. I've also even thought if I moved Khaleesi, just kept her as a standalone somewhere else, you know, like potentially even in the main theater room inside that single garage shelf, and then we did KD Goku bust with Prime 1 Goku. That would look really sick. You know, I'd technically have 2 Goku busts, and then it would free this spot up for, you know, a future KD product or Prime 1. But I think that could also look really, really good. Or we could do different video game statues there. So there's definitely a few different options. I would say the 3 best options are KD Goku bust and Prime 1 Goku, Khaleesi bust and either Jon Snow, Night King, or Khaleesi bust, or just future video game statues from Prime 1 like Last of Us, Uncharted, if we get Elden Ring, you know, we will see. Definitely very excited for the next Prime 1 event, because I'm really hopeful we'll get a lot more video game statue previews. But yeah, that I would say is the only other area in my collection that I'm just like kind of, you know, what could I do? So I've kind of boiled down each area to a few different options. And like I said, I could technically do Bruce Lee 1/4 and bust right there as well. That's definitely an option. If I move Bruce Lee, it also opens this up for something else as well. You know, I could move Master Chief there or whatever I want to do. So yeah, that's basically it though, folks. The 3 spots in, you know, in my collection where I'm not 100%, you know, made a decision on what's going to happen. So now, keep in mind, if I did move Pan's Labyrinth over here and just saved my money, sold those off, didn't get either of them, I could do Ghostface, Leatherface, and heck, even like Jigsaw from Saw on a little tricycle there. That'd look cool. more true horror. I think that'd look great as well. But I don't want to mix fawn with 1/4. That's one big, huge no-no for me. I can't have 1/3 next to a 1/4, like side by side. I don't mind 1/3 above, 1/4 down low, but I can't do them next to each other. That's a big no-no. Outside of kind of this area, because I have a bust that's the separator. Anyways, folks, that is it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Comment on all 3 areas what you think would be the best option for my man cave. You know, this has been an absolute wild 7+ year journey on my YouTube channel and building, you know, arguably one of the best statue collections out there, at least in my opinion, which, you know, I truly think I do have one of the best out there, at least for me. You know, others, you know, everyone has their own opinion. And I hope everyone thinks that they have the best collection out there as well. Anyways, that is it. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.